Okay, welcome back. We are resuming the special meeting of Kimberley City Council for Monday, May the 8th. For those who may be joining on YouTube, we had an in-camera meeting leading up, which is why we've already done introductions. And first up, we have a number of our financial bylaws for adoption. First is the 2023 to 2027 5-year financial plan bylaw for adoption. Mover, please. Councillor Royer, thank you. Councillor Dunneback seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? That motion is carried. Next up, we have bylaw 2743, which is the City of Kimberley Parcel Tax Imposition Bylaw. Actually, no, it's not. It says bylaw 2279. Help me out here, Maurice.
That's what we're amending. That's 2279.
Okay. Amendment number 11 for 2023 of 2279. Thank you, Scott. Mover, please. Councillor Cairns, thank you. Councillor Dunneback seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? That motion is carried. Next up, we have the City of Kimberley 2023 tax rates bylaw for adoption. Mover, please. Councillor Royer, thank you. Councillor Roberts seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? That motion is carried. Next up, we have the audited draft of the consolidated financial statements, and the motion is that the 2022 City of Kimberley consolidated financial statements substantially in the form attached to the report be accepted and approved. Councillor Roberts moves. Councillor Cairns seconds. Any further discussion on this? All those in favor? That motion is carried. Excellent. I think that's it. Is it, Jim, on the financial side of things? It is.
That's it, Mr. Mayor, with regards to the financial bylaws. Just a reminder to the viewing public that now that the financial plan bylaw and tax rates bylaws are adopted, probably the third week in May, we'll start getting the tax notices out. So people can expect those in the mailboxes soon.
All right. Excellent. Thanks for all the great work on this, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the City of Kimberley Food Security Action Plan. This is a grant application, and the motion on the floor is that Council directs staff to develop and submit an application to the 2023 Plan H Healthy Communities Grant Program for a grant to fund 100% of the costs for development of a City of Kimberley Food Security Action Plan. Mover, please. Councillor Royer, thank you. Councillor Cairns seconds. Discussion. Pam, can you speak to this, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Certainly, pardon my voice. A wee cold. I was approached by members of the Kimberley Food Hub about making an application to Plan H for a $15,000 grant for development of a Kimberley Food Security Action Plan. So essentially their intention is to utilize the funds to do some primary and secondary research into a plan that would investigate options or what's available in terms of food security efforts for Kimberley at large, looking at youth, looking at seniors, looking at low-income families, and that type of thing. So development of a plan or investigation on what some tactics would be to boost food security for Kimberley as a community.
All right, Council, questions or comments? All those in favor? Oh, hang on. Was that a late hand or was that an in favor?
Favor, so.
Yeah, okay. All right, call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. The second part of this is that if approved, Council directs staff to prepare an amendment to the year 1 of the 2023-2027 5-year financial plan bylaw to add project expenditures of $15,000 that would be offsetting with grant revenue related to the development of this plan. Mover, please. Councillor Cairns moves. Councillor Dunneback seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Sandra.
Jim, does that impact it on the previous motion to have accepted the plan?
No, the financial plan will be adopted as moved by council, and typically we have one or two financial plan bylaw amendments throughout the year just for, unfortunately, this is coming the same night the bylaw was adopted, but
Okay.
we will amend the bylaw at some point to include this.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
We're moving at the rate of change, which is awesome. All right, anything further? Call the question then. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. Bear with me. And the last item on the agenda tonight has to do with the Kimberley Youth Action Network, and it is specifically the program extension. And the motion on the floor is that council approve a one-year extension of the city's administration and oversight of the Kimberley Youth Action Network program by authorizing the chief admin officer to execute the contribution agreement with Columbia Basin Trust. Mover, please. Councillor Cairns, thank you. And Councillor Royer seconds. Jim or Pam, which of you would like to make a couple of comments? Pam, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think you're all familiar with the Kimberley Youth Action Network, or CYAN as we call it, and the great work Lori Jo is doing as youth coordinator. The first contribution agreement with CBT was a 3-year agreement, and since then CBT has changed that to be a 1-year by 1-year agreement. So we did sign a 1-year further extension last year, and now we just received a contribution agreement for another 1-year term.
Awesome. Thanks, Pam. Go ahead, Kevin.
Just wondering if we've applied for any apprenticeship programs through the Columbia Basin Trust as well. Like, you know, we have an apprentice mechanic and stuff like that. There's coming July 24th actually is the sign up date. And they pay a substantial amount of the wage, which is helpful to, well, help me to be able to essentially hire another apprentice. So,
Yeah, so that would be a separate program
yeah.
to this one, but the wage subsidy program, I think, is what you're referring to. Yeah. So let's finish with this motion and then we'll come back to that, if that's okay with you, Pam. Yep.
Yes, please.
So coincidentally, the Youth Leadership Summit is happening this weekend here in Kimberley up at the Conference Center, which is I think we'll probably have about 100 kids from across the region attending that summit here as part of the Youth Action Network. Okay, further comments? Call the question then. All those in favor? That motion is carried. And lastly, that council directs staff to prepare an amendment to the 5-year financial plan bylaw at number 2 on the first night to include the related operating expenditures and offsetting grant revenue. Mover, please. Councillor Royer, thank you. And Councillor Karen seconds. Further discussion? All those in favor? That motion is carried. Excellent. So coming back to to your comment about the wage subsidy program, Kevin, yeah, CBT, you know, year over year have a fairly extensive wage subsidy program for exactly apprentices and things like that. It's well subscribed, and there's a fair amount of money in there to make that happen. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's great for small business to have the opportunity to get a hold of something like this. It's the financial relief a bit from the business owner, and being able to invest that money in the apprentice's future really helps with retention.
Yeah, awesome. So you've had good success with the program.
I would scream from the top of the mountains how awesome it is.
Cool. Thanks for that, Kevin. Okay, any further comments, council? Hearing none, move to adjourn. Councillor Royer, thank you. And Councillor Roberts seconds. All those in favor? That motion is carried. We are adjourned. Awesome. Thanks, folks. We off? Are we off? Did you terminate?